Which, by the way, to add to that is not, there is no difference in that arrangement that we have with Nassau County as well. We do not assume any, so we are not responsible for the police force. And we are not taking any past liabilities taking over or sharing in any of that. And we are not taking any risk liabilities for which they will have their insurance, which will cover that.
A 4% increase per year basically works out to almost a 25% increase over the 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just concerned, like we saw those numbers going off the charts, and 25% is a big number. I'm sure we've thought about that.
Yeah, so, you know, if you, yeah, I mean, I can't tell you that the cost will not go up. Obviously, everything is going up. But if you look at, we are lowering our base by almost $450,000. And that would certainly, you know, set the base low. And also, let me make another point here, that let's say we don't do that, well, Nassau County, if you look at the 12-year record, that 5.2 is not going anywhere. And if you've been reading about their budget issues and all the fiasco they have, it's not going to be, you know, it's not going to be smooth sailing going forward.
I don't know if it's feasible or possible, or maybe we don't want it, but the Nassau County officers that are currently patrolling Laurel Hollow, will they be at all moving over to Oyster Bay?
I can't tell you that with any, you know, I can't give you any definite answer. Only thing I can say is there is some desire and some consideration being given, but that's not our decision. That's something which is.
Do we have any input in what officers do patrol our area?
Which officers? No, we don't.
None at all. So
No. It's not going to be that those will be the only officers. I don't think, and maybe I would ask Dr. Sheen to help me out on that. My understanding is, and again, Chief Cronin is also here, maybe he can shed the light. I don't think it's going to be, you're the Laurel Hollow officer and you'll never go to Oyster Bay and vice versa. I think there's going to be, it's a police force that will, you know, be scheduled to serve both villages. Have I said that accurately, Chief?
So there won't be, like, an officer may work the Oyster Bay route one day and work Laurel Hollow the other.
Is that, yes, that is correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, here. I don't need a microphone. My name is Bill Sherman. I've lived in Laurel Hollow for 25 years. Previous to that, I was in Brookville. But I've been a builder for 45 years on Long Island. Now, I'm not going to complain about taxes. Been here a long time. All over the island, that's the same thing. But my concern is that, not to compare it to Brookville police, who are excellent, but that was tremendous coverage I had over there for 25 years. They watched out for everything. Nassau County Police, forget it. I don't know where they're sleeping or wherever it may be, but that's that. So when I heard about a change, which has been on my mind for a long time, see, I don't complain very much because all you other folks who live in Laurel Hollow, you don't realize how lucky you are. But I love it. Unfortunately, I'm on private land where there are 10 other houses up there, and for some strange reason, they don't patrol 428 Harbor Road up there. We have a 1/4 mile of our own road that, you know, we take care of it. We take care of the plowing. We put in a new road. We put everything. I'm not complaining about that. But I do know one thing as a builder. Police protection and private police protection is very, very important. Don't worry about schools, don't worry about this, that's all kind of secondary. But police are very conscious, because I know from Lloyd's Neck the mill neck that I've been building in for 45 years, that police, private police, even if they just occasionally come by, is very, very important. So, the
thank you.
taxes
Yeah,
are all kind of
yeah.
secondary.
Yeah.
We're all used to that after a while.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Sherman, for those comments. But, you know, I will just, I'll come to you 1 second. I just want to, you know, point out to this when I was doing the comparison. So when you see, we only had 4 dedicated officers. And those 4 also, when they are on vacation or when they are taking sick time, and, you know, you can say another almost 20 to 25% of the time, they will not be available. So during those periods, it would be any officer from anywhere in the county. I mean, we had, that was, you know, I accept that was a disadvantage in that arrangement. Now here, we're gonna have, you know, a full staff of 14, which, you know, Sure, sure.
It's very important. When we had Laurel Hollow Police, those fellas, they knew who was where. I had the first house on the corner of Route 108 and 428 Harbor Road. Whenever there's a problem with Nassau County Police, they come up there because they're not familiar with the houses. This is important. This is the point, actually. The local police also, as a builder, I'll tell you this, you get $100,000 less for your house in Laurel Hollow than if it's up in Lloyd's Neck. When I moved here 25 years ago, I loved it. But the police are very, very important so that they know where people live and they're alert.
So one of the things we are doing is also, again, let me just highlight some of the things and which you would appreciate, that the cars will be marked serving the villages of Oyster Bay Cove and Laurel Hollow. Both the booths will be marked serving the villages of Oyster Bay Cove and Laurel Hollow. The police officers will be carrying cards, correct me if I'm wrong, Chief Cronin, which will state accordingly that the officer served Laurel Hollow and Oyster Bay Cove. So I think what you're talking about is ownership by the police officers, and this is something we are expecting. And we also have plans of doing introductory sessions, just as we invited the chief and the officers here today. We hope to have some, you know, as we get started, some other, you know, just kind of meet and greet the community type sessions, which is good for both sides. I think it's something that the chief and the officers on the Oyster Bay Cove side would be very interested in doing that as well. That's the sense we have gotten so far, and that's what has been recommended in our consultant's report also. Maybe I'll ask Mike to make a couple of comments on that, because Mike, you really specifically in your study, you highlighted these points of taking ownership to the community, how important it is for the officers.
Thank you, Nancy. Yes, and one of the reasons I spent so much time on the ownership issue is because I was also a resident of Laurel Hollow when we made the decision to close down the Laurel Hollow Police Department and move over to Nassau County. And I knew all the feelings that it created, the strong public sentiment that was the issues that were created at that time. During the study that I did, I had the opportunity to meet with every officer from the Oyster Bay Cove Police Department. And I came away from those meetings with very good feelings. These officers are extremely dedicated, and they are eager to work in Laurel Hollow. The ability to cover another village will give them additional stability to their department. It will raise the stature of their department. And to be honest with you, it'll give them another 5 square miles or so to visit on a regular basis when they get tired of driving around the streets of Oyster Bay Cove. But they are a very, very dedicated group of people. It's young in age grouping. I think there's only one officer who's eligible to retire. So you will have a group of officers who will be with this community for a long time, and they plan on staying long past the 5 years. In fact, the biggest concern that they had was what would happen if at the end of the 5-year contract, Laurel Hollow elected not to renew the contract. They wanted to know what would happen to their department. That led me to believe that this is a group of people who are going to work hard to make sure that Laurel Hollow does not decide to renew.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay?